Good evening and welcome to Baker Forward. I'm your host tonight, Chief Mike Snapper Knaps from the Baker Police Department. Today we're going to have a little introductory program where I just introduce you to myself and our department, the things that we're doing, and how we keep this city safe and a great place for you guys to live. Let's talk about me a little bit. In 1961, when I was 2 years old, really don't remember much about that, but my parents decided they wanted to make their home in Baker. So we moved from North Baton Rouge into Tristan Village in Baker, which is on the northeast side of Baker. Very, very nice, quiet neighborhood. Enjoyed really growing up there. I remember my brother and I playing cowboys and Indians in our big yard that we had over there, and how we grew to learn to know our neighbors and to trust them and to have a good time with them. As that happened, we finally got old enough to go to school, and back in those days, the kids that went to play school went to Greenwood Park. They had a play school that we went to. There was no kindergarten back in those days. Had a lot of fun over there, got to know the animals and get to do those types of things. It was time for me to move on to first grade, and that was the year they decided that the children had to wait, and if their birthday was after January, they had to wait a year, and my birthday was in January, so I got to take preschool again over there at the play school. I was extremely smart, and all the kids really thought that I was a really, really top gun over there. I knew all the animals. Heck, I'd been through it twice. I should have. Unfortunately, when we moved to the first grade over at White Hills, they realized that I was the same as they were, just having a lot of fun and getting along. At White Hills, we learned a lot. We learned about some different cultures in Baker and the kids from different areas and how that worked. Went there through second grade. In 1967, they opened up Park Ridge Elementary, the new school. We had a brand new school in Baker, right here on Groom Road. I got to attend there in the third grade. Really started meeting some new friends. By that time, I was old enough to ride my bicycle to school. So my brother and I, we would ride our bikes to school. Very blessed to grow up in a large family, 5 children. My mom and dad, really, really, really good people. I was blessed to have been raised by such caring parents. They kept a swift hand on us and kept us in line and taught us a little bit about what life was about. So we went through Park Ridge, and then we went to Baker Middle School. When I got to Baker Middle School, I met even some more great people. Actually, it was the first year of integration in the city of Baker. We didn't know that. We only thought that we went to school with kids in our area that lived around us. We were told that we would be going to school with kids from different areas when we got to the middle school, because that's where all of the elementaries fed in. So when we got over to the middle school, I met me some new friends and really got expanded to know the whole city of Baker. By the time I was about midway through that 7th grade year, I was riding my bicycle, putting hundreds of miles on it, riding anywhere from Brownsville to Leland College to Zachary. Sometimes we would ride our bikes. The great part about that is we were allowed to do that. It was a safe environment for us to do that. Then we went to Baker High School. By the time we got to the high school, we really were meeting some people, and Baker was really growing by that time. And one thing I remember distinctly is the Baker 5-0. That's what we called the police department back then, the Baker 5-0. What a great bunch of guys. They would always be looking out for us. And so they cared so much about us. Whenever they found us slipping a little bit, they would bring us home to our parents and share it with our parents. They really cared. And I tell you, it means a lot today for me to operate the Baker Police Department. And the reason I talk about my history is because we do a lot of things today that those officers did back then in the 70s that worked so well. At Baker High School, started really learning some things about the culture in the city of Baker. I had the privilege of playing all sports in school except for baseball. At some point in my school years, I played football, basketball, ran track, did all of those things. But when I got in high school, decided to be in the band because my brother was such an outstanding drummer, and he taught me how to play drums. And he told me that we have so much fun in the band, you need to join it. So I joined the band, and we had a great time doing that. When I was in high school, between my freshman and sophomore year, we slipped off to Florida on a school trip. I fell asleep on the beach and got sunburned real bad, and that's where my nickname came from, Snapper. They were calling me Red Snapper. And when the sunburn went away, the snapper stayed. And that's where my nickname came from. So that's where the Mike Snapper Knaps hits you. When you hear it, you know where Snapper comes from. In high school and band, we traveled all over the country and getting to meet a lot of people and do a lot of things. When I graduated from high school, I thought I wanted to be a lawyer, so I attended University of Southwestern Louisiana, where I didn't stay long. Just didn't feel like college was for me. I didn't like being separated from my parents and all of my friends, and I caved into that and came back home and got me a job and worked at Bonfanti Marine. Worked over there as a boat motor mechanic and a shop foreman, and really learned a lot of things about people there too. Everybody from the wealthy to the shrimpers and the commercial fishermen on down to the average person that just came in. We learned a lot about culture. I tell you all these things because it's my platform that has trained me to do this job, to be your police chief. And I tell you, it's a great honor for me to do that. Up next, what we're going to be talking about is some of the divisions and functions of the Baker Police Department. We're going to talk about our crime rate a little bit and how we got there. Again, I just want to tell you, it's a pleasure being your police chief, and wanted to give you a little history about my upbringing so you would know who I am, where I come from, and what I'm about. I'm a good church-going Christian man. Coming up, my mom took us to every church in the city of Baker because she didn't know who was right, she said, one of them's bound to be right, so we're going to see them all. So that's some of my background. Up next, divisions and functions of the Baker Police Department. Hey, stick around, we got some good stuff coming.
Hi, I'm Freddie. With me is my wife,
Elnora Patterson.
We are founders of God Deliberate Outreach Center. We're on a mission to feed and assist the homeless and needy in Baton Rouge. We are seeking your support. Your donations are greatly appreciated.
There is no amount too small or too large, and all donations are tax deductible. To learn how you can help, call, email, or stop by. The information is on your screen now. We are completely donation funded with God Deliberate Outreach Center.
You will never go hungry. Go love.
All right, we were talking about my history and coming up. So after leaving Bonfanti Marine in 1981, I became a full-time employee of the police department after serving approximately 6 months as a police reserve. We're going to talk about some of the functions within the Baker Police Department. It's going to be Baker PD 101. Let's talk about how you contact us. If you need to talk to the Baker Police Department about anything, you call us on 775-6000. You're going to get a dispatcher. You could tell that dispatcher what your issues are. Then they will determine which section they send you to and how to get connected to get your problem solved. Because what I want you to know that makes us different in the city of Baker, your problem is important to us. Whatever it is that's bothering you, it's important to us. There's never a bad call or a call that shouldn't be made. Sometimes we may have to tell you that it's not a criminal issue, that it's a civil issue. Sometimes we may tell you that there's really nothing that we can legally do. But you know what? We'll always have an open ear to hear what you have to say. So the first people you will come in contact with is our enhanced 911 communications officers. If you have to call our police department for dispatch, we have one of the most advanced, enhanced 911 systems in the country. We operate on the same system as the East Baton Rouge Parish EMS, police, fire, sheriff's office, all the entities within the parish. We're all tied into that same big 911 system, but you actually get an operator in Baker whenever you call 911 or 775-6000. Our communications people have a tremendous amount of equipment in that building. And we're going to do a tour of that in a later show, and we're going to talk to those people in there and let you see behind the scenes of how each division functions and works in the Baker Police Department. But in just giving you a brief intro of them today, our communications division has a huge tracking map where they can see where every unit is at all times. So if we have an immediate need for a unit in an area, they know exactly who's there and how to get them there. We also have a tracking system on our units. So at any time as an administrator, I want to know where they've been, what they're doing. I can pull up a tracking history for each unit. So all of that's done through our communications system. We call them the heartbeat of our organization. The next division is the Uniform Patrol Division. You will have probably 90% of your contact with the Baker Police Department will be with our Uniform Patrol Division. Uniform Patrol exists of our regular officers that are dispatched to your calls, our Traffic Division, who enforces the traffic safety and traffic laws. And these guys are out patrolling the city and answering the calls that you call in for assistance. Our Uniform Patrol usually works about 4 people at one time out on the street. The city's broke into 4 sectors, and each officer patrols a sector during their period. Some business, some residential, some rural. It just depends on which sector they're in. With Baker being so compact and so populated, we have a large population in Baker. A lot of people don't realize that Baker is one of the top 25 size cities in the state of Louisiana. Because we're surrounded by bigger cities like Baton Rouge, we don't think much about how big we are. But once you get above 190 and start heading north, there's only a handful of cities that are larger than the city of Baker. So we're really a big city. But we're compact, so it allows our response times to be well. Our uniform patrol's average non-emergency response time is 3 minutes and 6 seconds. That's unbelievable. That's probably one of the best in the nation, and we're very proud of that. So we have a tremendous response time to get to you when you call. A lot of times people say, why do 2 or 3 officers come to a call? That's officer safety. We want to make sure that whatever's going on is a safe environment for you and for our officers while they're doing their job too. Let's move on and say now that we've got to a little more serious crime. Now we're talking about the CID, the Criminal Investigations Division. Our Criminal Investigations Division consists of officers that are narcotics officers, negotiators, investigators, special response people. We have a lot of things going on through that division. We're very, very well trained and equipped, and we'll be talking a little bit more about that in our next section. But our criminal investigations would be the ones that come in after a major burglary or a major crime that has happened. And speaking of major crime, the new Universal Crime Report just came out. Our crime rate, when I took over as Chief of Police, it was 3.8. In the last UCR report, the Universal Crime Report, we're down to 1.7. We are the safest large municipality in the state of Louisiana. The only thing that separates Baker and Baton Rouge is Thomas Road, the double yellow line. One side of that road is a 1.7, the other side is a 12.8. We're doing some special things here with our group that make things a lot safer for you. When the Criminal Investigations Division contacts you, it's usually a little more in depth. So those guys are doing some pretty serious things. Like I said, they're handling the major crimes. So their scope is very wide, and we're going to be sitting down with those guys in the future and talking about some of the great things they do. And last, and one of the most important, is our Criminal Records Division. These ladies are the ones that you come in and get your reports from and make sure that everything is done on time and filed in a timely manner. They get all the information to the court and to all the other court systems, whether it's civil or criminal, and where it needs to be. My administrative team is second to none. I would consider them the most reliable, and comfortable people to work with in the country. We've formed a true trust for one another, and I think you get to see that as you see us operate within the city of Baker. It's a pleasure to be your chief of police and have these great people that work in these divisions work under me. Next, we're going to be talking about some of my training, and we're going to talk about how to contact us and some things of that nature. There's going to be a lot of things in the next segment. Thanks.
Baton Rouge is a special place to live, and we have specific needs that need to be shared. WLFT wants to give you a chance to host your own TV show. Maybe you sell homes or motorcycles, or maybe you're a mechanic with knowledge to share. WLFT can create cool graphics and design a show just for you. Calling all ministers, civic groups, doctors, and lawyers, you can have your own TV show now. TV shows can cost over $50,000 an episode. For a limited time, WLFT is offering local businesses your own TV show for as little as $500 per episode, including production. If you need a show or a commercial, call us now or email us at myownshow@WLFT.com. Send us your idea and you can join me on Me TV.
Welcome back. It's good to have you back with us. You know, we were just discussing that UCR report and talking about how our crime number was really low. A lot goes into that. A lot of it has to do with us being one of the most proactive police departments in the country, one of the most well-equipped also. You see, the Baker Police Department was the first accredited certified agency in the state of Louisiana in the Universal Crime Report, which means that we have over a 99.5% accuracy rating in our crime report. So when we put it in, it's truly an accurate definition of the crimes that are happening in Baker. You know, it's sad, but some people will actually fudge that report to make it look like their city's safer than it is. I'm a straight shooter, if you know me, and I don't believe in cutting corners, and I don't believe in flexing numbers. So that 1.7 is true and true to be. What does that allow us to do, being accredited and being so respected in the law enforcement community for the way we handle our reporting? It allows us to get a lot of federal grants. We've received over $5 million in federal grants since I've been the police chief. We have done some tremendous things with equipping our department. Our uniformed patrol officers are probably as well equipped as any other police department in the country, if not better. Each one of our units, from the lieutenant down to the lowest ranking patrolman, has every piece of equipment they would need, from normal operation all the way through tactical things that they would need in certain situations. We're very proud of that. We're very proud to be who we are and the things that we have done to get there. I can tell you that we've had some great assistance along the way. You know, I give a lot of credit to Sheriff Gautreaux as the chief for 27 years. My first 27 years in the police department were with him, stuck by his side very tightly, learned a lot from the man, very, very smart man. He moved us forward, but I was able to take some things that I learned from him and take advantage of some things that were out there and move us a little bit further. And we're just really excited about the way that our department is equipped, and we continue to equip it better as we go. A lot of you guys worry about that photo enforcement that we have out there. I wanted to tell you a little bit about that. Look, it's basically a volunteer system. It's just like my traffic division. It's remember this: a traffic speed limit sign, a red light, a stop sign, those are not suggestions. Those are law. Make sure you follow them. If you're going the speed limit and you're stopping at the red lights and you're stopping at the stop signs, you're not going to have any issues with any of these divisions that are out there, whether it's my traffic enforcement or whether it's the photo. The reason we use photo enforcement is because it's a tremendous tool that allows us to slow people down in a way that doesn't affect their driving record, and it doesn't cost them a lot of money. Our average photo enforcement ticket starts at $40, and that's just to let you know, hey, you need to slow down. Here's a little reminder, do that. Unfortunately, it's not that way with our traffic division. When you get a paper ticket for speeding, it's usually up around $180 to a little over $200, just depending on your speed. So we try to use the photo enforcement as much as we can to try to keep our city safe. Our accidents in the city of Baker, speed-related accidents, since we started the photo enforcement program in 2007, are down 75%. 75%. We've only cut 2 people out of cars since 2007, since we did this photo enforcement program. That's unbelievable. It's keeping our city safe. You know, we've talked about some other things today. We talked about the divisions. We talked about how you go about calling in, how you go about getting your report. Well, we're going to talk about some other things now. Now we're going to talk about if things get a little more serious. We're going to talk about Crime Stoppers, East Baton Rouge Parish Crime Stoppers. If you know of any crime that you want to call in and let us know about, listen, you can watch all of these shows on TV, CSI and NCIS and everything you want to watch. The truth is 90% of our crimes being solved comes from you picking up that phone and calling us and giving us the information you have. You are a major part of this community being safe. It's very important that if you know something that you let us know, because we don't want someone in your family to become a victim as well as the people that have already become victims. So the sooner we can get these criminals in a controlled environment where we can maybe get them some education, maybe get them fixed to where they can understand what they're doing wrong and come back and be well productive in society, that's very important, and we need to do that. If you're just trying to contact the Baker Police Department, there are a couple ways to do that. Our main number is 775-6000. When you dial that number, you're going to get an automated response. It'll tell you to push 1 if you need to talk to an officer, and then you can go all the way through, talk to me, talk to anyone in the department. It'll allow you to do that. We're very, very accessible. I do return my phone calls. I try to get in touch with people as quickly as possible. Sometimes that's a couple days, depends on what we have going. But as your police chief, I tell you, it's a joy to be here in the city of Baker. I've grown up here. It's where my heart is. It's where my home is. It's where I've raised my family. It's where my family raised me. And I enjoy representing you, the great people of the city of Baker, as your police chief. And I hope that you will continue to join us through this series of programming and get to learn a lot more about your police department. I'm going to be bringing guests anywhere from pee-wee coaches to college coaches in here to talk about sports and how they affect our lives and help in disciplining people to grow up to be more productive citizens in our community, all the way down to you just name it, we're going to have it in here. We'll have pastors, we'll have teachers, we're going to have police officers, we're going to go out to the DARE classes, we're going to have a good time. So again, I just wanted to thank you for taking time to be with us tonight on Baker Forward. Look forward to seeing you again on my next show. Be blessed and have a great day.